All right, let's get right into it. We're going to talk about the psychology behind two little words so many of us say all the time: I'm sorry. And, well, it turns out there's a whole lot more going on there than just good manners. So, picture this. You're in a grocery store, minding your own business, and someone else, not looking where they're going, slams their cart right into yours. And what's the first thing out of your mouth? Oh, I'm so sorry. Sound familiar? Yeah, I thought so. But here's the twist. What if I told you that reflex isn't really about being polite? For so many of us, it's actually a deeply wired survival mechanism. It's a strategy your brain figured out a long, long time ago just to keep you safe. And it's not just about shopping carts, is it? It's in those emails we start with, "Sorry to bother you." It's that feeling you get when you have to apologize for taking up space on a crowded train or for, having perfectly normal human needs. It can even feel like you're just apologizing for existing. And the really interesting part is that these things don't show up in some big dramatic moment. Nah, they just pop up on a totally ordinary Tuesday. It's that knee-jerk reaction to take the blame for something that, if you think about it, had absolutely nothing to do with you. So to understand why this happens, we have to go back, way back. See, when a kid has to deal with a lot of adversity, we're talking chaos, unpredictable grown-ups, their brain can get overwhelmed by something called toxic stress. And what this does is it basically installs an internal alarm system that is always, and I mean always, switched on. Now, a kid's brain is brilliant. It's built to adapt and survive. And for a lot of people who apologize constantly, you survived by taking on a very important job. You became the family peacemaker. You got really good at sensing trouble before it even started. The logic you learned was actually pretty simple, and it worked. Step 1, you'd feel the tension rising in the room. Step 2, you'd jump in to try and make everything okay. And what's the fastest way to do that? Step 3, take the blame. It was like a preemptive strike. If you said sorry first, you could control the outcome and, most importantly, keep yourself safe. There's a real psychological term for this. It's called parentification. It's what happens when a child has to take on all the heavy emotional work that's supposed to be for the adults. You end up managing everyone else's feelings just to keep the peace. You pretty much became a master at this. You learned how to manage a room full of tension like a conductor leading an orchestra, waving your little baton, sensing every little shift, and stopping a fight before it could ever really begin. You were making sure everyone else felt okay, even if you felt like you were drowning. But this is where the story gets really heavy. Because when you're apologizing for everything, you're not just speaking the language of politeness. You're speaking the language of shame. See, a little kid's brain can't make sense of chaos. It can't understand that it's not their fault. So it does the only thing it can. It internalizes the blame. And this creates a huge difference. Guilt. Guilt says, I made a mistake. It's about something you did. But shame says, I am the mistake. It's about who you are. And that deep down feeling of shame, that's why these habits are so hard to shake. It's why you lie awake at night replaying old conversations, trying to figure out what you did wrong. Your nervous system learned that even tiny mistakes could lead to big, scary consequences, so now it treats a small slip-up like it's a massive threat to your very survival. And that is exactly why at 3 in the morning, your brain suddenly decides it's the perfect moment to analyze that awkward thing you said at a party 6 years ago. You're not just remembering it. You're actively building a case against yourself, looking for any piece of evidence that proves you're somehow fundamentally flawed. So, after hearing all that, I'm sure there's a pretty big question hanging in the air. Does this mean I'm broken? Let me be as clear as I possibly can be. No, absolutely 100% not. What this really means is that your system, your brain, learned a brilliant, effective strategy to keep you safe when you were just a kid. It's just that software hasn't been updated in a while. The danger is gone now, but that old alarm system is still buzzing away. The kid who figured all that out didn't fail at anything. They did what they had to do. They survived. They used an incredible amount of strength to handle things that no child should ever have to. And that kid, that part of you that has been working so hard for so long, that kid deserves to finally rest. So if you take one thing away from all of this, let it be this. You are a human being, and just being is enough. You don't need to apologize for taking up space, or for having needs, or for simply being here in the world. No apology needed.